here we go again. Into another series. Another one with Karma in it. This time though, the opponent is Wesley. And yes, Karma now thirsts for a win after 2 times already. He seems to be really eager to play, as he already played 4 games before most other guys played 1, and now is about to get into his 5th one here. So let's see if he can take this one, which is an interesting matchup. I'm not gonna lie. After in Pixie vs Karma we saw 2 X's versus X's, we now get an allies versus allies, with Karma playing the 29th Tank Corps, and over here Wesley playing the 3rd US Armored, the Spearheads. That means T-34-85s and IS-2s versus Jumbos and German 76s, and obviously a lot of normal T-34s versus quite a lot of normal Shermans, the A1 models, which is also an interesting matchup because against the A3 and MCHA models, which I think is the A2, T-34s really struggle against the 100 frontal armor, but against the A1s they do a bit better, because those only have 90 frontal armor. So let's see how it goes. Both sides have not that much infantry. Karma will have a bit more, but the 3rd US Armored has more half-tracks that stay around, so that's an advantage as well. So it should be really quite interesting. A matchup that we haven't seen too often, if at all, before. Because last season the tank meta wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Like, medium tanks already were there, but T-35s and so on were not that good. So we didn't see that much. US Armored also wasn't as good because half-tracks dealt quite a bit less damage with their MGs. And without half-tracks, the division is rather weak. So here we go. 13-11 already for Wesley. Karma pushes it back though for 12-12. Big setup in the north here coming in for Wesley. 2 Sherman 76s and 2 normal ones against already an IS-2 together with a T-34-85 and 2 SD2 who try and sneak around and fire back on their producers, back onto the Americans in this matchup. Should be a really interesting one. So the M1 gun here, hitting the 3rd US. Interesting. Karma now getting the first kill onto an anti-tank gun. The M1 gun's not too effective against T-34s, and especially not against IS-2s. T-51 coming in over here. We'll hit some bombs onto these tanks, so might deal a bit of hull damage there. I think this one got a bit of damage now. Not 100% sure if it did. Doesn't quite look like it. So the Shermans still stay back. One went up to the hill to save the flag. Armored rifles will not be able to push into the tank with Nikis. But yeah, the 29th Tank Corps is really one that hasn't been in the meta before. But now it should be pretty solid. The Zugas over here got the kill onto one transport. Get annihilated in the open though by a T-34-85 as the M42 spotted them. Meanwhile, half-tracks pushing in the center, bullying a 52T. That's another MG dies in the open. Like, it's a lot of dead units on both sides in really unfair matchups for the units that are on the dead end. Like, for example, armored rifles running into Tankudas and Nikis, but in retaliation, Tankudas and Nikis getting bombed by P-51s. Like, it's really one-sided fights between the different units. This one might be a bit more interesting. The M42 here getting fired upon by an M8, which you could maybe circle around with the M8 and never have the M42 actually firing at you, because it has to constantly reposition. Over here, engineers against the parries. That might be an interesting one. Ooh, nice macro there by Karma. Dodges the explosion. Wesley does not, so his engineers die. While the Saperis of Kama only took 1 damage. That's a good show of how you micro in town fights, and how you can get quite a bit ahead if you put a bit of micro in there. Nice kill there. Nice small victory for Kama. But he needs it. He's down to 915. And lost the flags over here. Finally gets the kill onto a Sherman over here. With an SU-57. Lost the first one of those himself, though. Or maybe it went down here? I guess it went down there, so no, he didn't lose any of those. Has 2 37mm now around. And comes in. At more Strelkies coming in the north. All of them in half-tracks. Having half-tracks is really good right now in the current meta. With the 50 cal damage on vehicles dealing quite a bit more damage than they did like 3 months ago. The SU-57 will come around, finally kill off the M20. As you can see, 50 cal, like the one of the M20 now, can deal with anti-tank guns in CQC combat, so can be pretty nasty. Similar thing might happen over here. The M8 goes deep. Deals quite a bit of damage to the M42 already. M42 I think got a penetration in there with its APCR. And gets the final kill, but another half-track is around to fully pin it down, and that one will make it surrender most likely. If it continues. And it does so now. The second M42 should maybe come around the corner. Help out. But yeah, really annoying here for Kama. M42s getting bullied by half-tracks. SU-57s though are really nice units. With their 6-pounder they obviously have a really rapid rate of fire, so against armor targets they can be quite effective. Against anti-tank guns though, they have a rough time, as the M1 guns takes it out. Armored rifles, not the best CQC fighters, not the worst either, but you don't really want to have to fight against something like a tank with a Nikki in the forest, so pretty sure Kama will be able to take this flag back in a second. As he's down to a 915 though. In this Vanguard versus Vanguard mirror match. Thank goodness Niki's pushing forward. And yeah, 3rd US Armored. This is one of the divisions that at the moment is really highly rated. But it still lacks a bit too much infantry for my taste. And doesn't really have that many. Like, it has the jumbos obviously. But the jumbos compared to something like a IS-2 or King Tigers are still not quite on the same level. So yeah, I think it's a solid division yet now. Thanks to the amount of that all your infantry comes in with half-tracks, which are really cheap for what they do at the moment. But I still don't see them as quite well-rounded as something like 3rd Guards Tank Corps. So, but in this matchup, they're pretty well. Like, basically, 29th is a similar deck, just only with Soviet stuff instead of... or mostly Soviet stuff, instead of American stuff. Obviously, they still got the half-tracks from the Americans, they got the P-39s from the Americans in Lend-Lease project, but it's at least all crewed by Soviets, so that's for sure. Rajevetka over here gets the kill. This is a really nice unit in the recon tab of quite a couple of Soviet armored divisions. The bazooka plus 7 PBSHs. 8-men give them a bit of tankiness that other anti-tank battalions lack. And the bazooka is a good anti-tank weapon. Then you can also use them for recon. Obviously that's not their primary role though, with the bazooka and 8-men. M42 here gets bombed, and looks like Wesley is trying to win the town. And also looks like he will be able to do so. Strelky SVT is coming in another half-track, trying to save the situation. Tankiness and Nikki's over here. Will maybe kill off the armored rifles before they get away. Looks like it. Also kill off the half-tracks. Strelky SVT also over here killing the half-tracks, so those are all good engagements for Kama. Killing off 2 half-tracks and an infantry squad there, which might save the situation for him. The armored rifles, though, are dangerous for tanks, as they also have a bazooka. And the T-3485 here has to be careful. Hopefully Kama sees it in time. They're on attack move, so they actually stop while being in the open, not jumping into the building. And Wesley decides to disengage. He might have been able to get the T-45. I'm not sure if Kama was microing, but now he is. So maybe a good move there from Wesley to not engage fully. Gets hunted down now by the Stealthy SVTs though, and the Stealthy SVTs stop moving, and whilst the one unit of Wesley still is moving, and moving infantry versus stationary infantry is not even close to a fair fight. So the armored rifles go down, as moving targets get an extra damage modifier, but stationary targets get extra damage reducing modifiers after a couple of seconds. Tango is also over here using another Molotov to kill 3 armored rifles off. Luckily for the armored rifles, they popped out on the other side of the building, so they got out of the range of the Tango Snikis, otherwise the Tango Snikis might have been able to kill them there. In the north, Kama also gets into the offensive, this time with his half-tracks, after he got rushed with half-tracks into his forest, but this forest is way better defended against half-tracks than the forest of Kama was earlier on, so I don't think it would be a good idea to go up here. Because there's a couple of bazookas, there's a Sherman as well, so all of that deals pretty well with half-tracks. Meanwhile, we have an airfight between a P-39 Air Cobra and a P-51, and the Cobra gets behind there. Good micro there by Kama, manually turning it. Absolutely supreme air control there by Kama, getting a nice kill there with the P-39. Was a bit close there. The P-51 did quite a bit of damage to the P-39, so it was close for the Air Cobra there, but in the end it paid off. Nice control there, nice victory. And getting one of the P-51s is really important, because their constant bombardment here was really annoying for Kama. And the game starts to somewhat stabilize here at the 12-12. So after it looked like the game was really versatile in the beginning of the game, it looks like both sides might be able to dig in. If Kama doesn't push Wesley now too hard in the town though, because the town is really lightly defended now after the push of Wesley himself failed. And he only has 2 infantry squads and a bazooka here. Whilst Kama by now has a couple of armored units, a couple of half-tracks, and 4 infantry squads here. 237mm also coming around now. Attacked him from the skies. Over here, his 37mm right now are in nasty engagements against T-34s, against Shermans. His T-34s trying to come around together with Radredka to save the 37mm, but the first one looks like it will go down before they can come around. It's close, but here goes the 37mm. 34 now around, Radredka now around. Radredka gets it shot off, T-34 kills the Sherman, or maybe it was the Radredka. It is down anyways, and the second one is falling back, so it can't fire back, so at that moment obviously T-34s are rather deadly as well. And they get the 76 as well. So really good engagement here for Kama. Might run into an enemy bazooka as well though. Yeah, bazooka aims, gets a kill onto the T-34 of Kama. And with only one 37mm, P-51s couldn't come in again. With 2 37mm on whose directional C, P-51s have a rough time, because unlike most other late war fighter bombers, they don't have medium resilience. P-51s actually still have bad resilience, so the 2 37mm can absolutely take it down, even though it's a fast plane. If it goes closes in for the dive, the 37mm usually get quite a bit of good damage in there. So yeah, really good plays from both sides here. Absolutely enjoyed. Once more, pretty good gameplay here from Division 1. Overall, it looks like the gameplay really improved since Season 3. Like, Season 4 and 5 feel like everyone is on another skill level again, compared to what we had previously. I don't know like how big the difference is to last season, for that we have to be going a bit deeper in, but last season and what we see this season already looks like the overall skill improved quite a bit throughout the board. Like in Season 3, Kama and Gonzo were already close to where we are right now with like most players in Division 1, but everyone else was still a bit lower. But now what we got here is pretty prime play from basically everyone. Like even guys that are new to Division 1, like Quattro U, delivering really, really good games. So I'm absolutely loving it. Or maybe it's Karma allowing everyone to show off their best, because everyone wants to play the best against him, and he messes up a bit and allows that. I don't know, but so far it looks like the skill level is really close and also really high. I hope all of you enjoy it just as much as I do. 81mm half track now around to try to snipe some anti-tank guns. Obviously, Wesley is second guy on the rank ladder, so could expect out of him to get some really good games. Show. Armored rifles over here, engaging the Straki, pinning them down. Rajvetka now helping out though, so the armored rifles should not win this engagement. And that should allow Karma to take the flag back and finally start to tick down Wesley here. If Wesley doesn't take more flags in the south, because there is another off-map around. 155mm coming in here in the south. And for some reason, okay, now we are back to working functions. Another off-map, so looks like he has a B-face cut of 155mm. Meanwhile, also having two 81mm mortar half-tracks, slowing down the game a bit, going a bit more for the long game payoffs like artillery. Mortar half-tracks can be pretty devastating in the long run. And he gets the flag down here, so that balances out the flag that Karma received in the north. And we're back to a 12-12 situation. So after two pretty fast games that we saw in the last match between Pixie and Karma, looks like the first game here might be a longer one, if nothing major happens within the next 5 minutes. Obviously, there's so many units on the board that maybe someone starts a steamroll right now. Then all I said is completely wrong. Interesting. First of all, the positioning here is really risky. If anything breaks through over here, the Katyushas are in danger. But I guess you could expect from Karma to micro them out still beforehand. But also, Katyushas overall are an interesting choice. I don't think they quite deal the damage at the moment. They are a bit better, in my experience, than Naval Warfare 41s. But still, 80. Sure, they're only 80 points. But the reload time and the consumption of ammunition is just too high. Like, the damage output is decent, but not decent for the cost you pay for it. So, pretty interesting to see them here. Like, Karma overall has some deck building choices that we've seen in the last couple of matches that are quite unique, I would say, or like different from what the meta at the moment demands. Like, for example, these Katyushas, like, yeah. The Andriushas and Naval Warfare 42s you see sometimes, but also not that much in 1v1, but more like in team games, because the unit density is not that high usually in 1v1s. Obviously in this game it's pretty high. Both sides have stabilized here. Ooh, where are these shooting? Okay, so they're shooting up the hill, and with pinpoint accuracy, the Rajvetka guys here might have a rough time. Radio range mortars are just so lovely. Rajvetka's in trouble. P34 85 though kills the German 76 in the north. Together with the Rajvetka. The Rajvetka tank pushes off Karma are pretty cool there in the hilly forested area where you can get up to the ranges with your Rajvetkas relatively easily. Because even if the enemy sees the Rajvetka, they still have to run away from them, which means that their tanks are not as accurate as yours, and your tanks have an advantage even if it's not the Rajvetkas who be able to fire their bazookas. 04's now coming in for Wesley as well, so both sides will now have AA on the battlefield. Katyusha is not yet fired. I wonder what will be the big plan with these. He wants to try to push in here, or if it's for a big storm onto the hill. My guess would be a big storm on the hill. Usually pushing in here is not that lucrative in the long run. Like, you might get this flag for a while, but it doesn't give you any good position onto anything. And holding it is quite hard if the enemy still has this area over here where it can shoot onto your supply line, and also obviously these 4s up here are amazing positions to kill anything down here. Also shut down your supply lines up here. So reinforcing any forces that you got in there is pretty tough. Meanwhile, in the south, Wesley is probing the border, but it's not really working out. He got a couple of leaders here. He got a couple of tanks killed here. No, half-tracks killed on both sides. Maybe one T-34 died down here. It looks like no. I think that those were the tanks that were here before. Now there's an IS-2 as well. So that's interesting. IS-2 in the town fight. Usually you see them more like around the town, the perimeter, like over here maybe, pushing down the lane alongside the town, or pushing over the open over here. Not so much in it. But it's still a pretty good position here. Thanks for the subscription, Reef. And ooh, here we go. The Bowser raid is coming in. Hello, hello everyone. How did it go? How did it go? Wow. Wow. And yeah, thanks also for the follow. Was this Los Ivan? I missed to mention that one, I think. Now I did. T-51 coming in over here. Will hit the tank of the Sanikis. Will hit the tank of the Sanikis. Ooh, with the mortar fire. Onto the tanks. Let's see. With radio, 81mm mortars can be a danger because they get quite a couple of successive hits onto tanks. So they focus the M41 though, so maybe the hits onto the T-35 will not be that many. But I could see a world where Wesley will start to snipe down this IS-2, or at least the T-35 with his mortar here. 21 minutes now gone through, so we are in C phase. Both just got their first low income pick. They both have to get used to that, because that's all they will get for the rest of the game. And we have the first Katyusha battery firing against an M15, and they get the kill. 160 points of investment to get the kill there. Now you need another 40 points to refill both. And so yeah, Katyushas did their job, I guess. Let's see how much more they will do for the rest of the battle. Rajvetka here got one rocket off, but didn't got the kill there into the Sherman. Got killed off by some 50 cults. The stalemate is through. Wesley is in a solid setup now again in the town. And the bazookas got the T-34-85. A nice kill there from Wesley. T-34-76 and IS-2 are still around though, so armored push through the town will not work out for Wesley. And infantry push also has to be rather careful. They're gonna Sindiki at least clean out the bazooka, so that one can't annoy any other tanks anymore. Wesley keeps on annoying via the flanks. His infantry is not also around to help out with bazookas. The 37mm of Kama pushed them back. But Kama lost his commander unit here, I think. Like, yeah, he lost his 37mm earlier. Where's the commander unit? Has he moved it? No, I think he lost it. Yeah, he must have lost it in an earlier flank. And now the off-map comes in. IS-2 and T-35 though are disengaging out of the circle. It's a real back and forth here. And here we drink. The first 20 minutes were Mr. Wesley pushes in onto the hill, gets pushed out of it. Kama tries to push back, gets stopped. And since then it's flanking, pushback from Kama, flanking, pushback from Kama, flanking, pushback from Kama. Whilst in the town it's Wesley pushes, Kama stops it, pushes back, Wesley overextends a bit again, Kama pushes it back. Like, that's basically what happened so far. And now both sides have a pretty solid setup. One cool move was Kama really using Supreme Air Micro in a 1v1 with a P-39 to get behind the P-51 and get shut down there. And yeah, now both sides have AA set up as well. So That's kinda it. That's kinda it. And here we go again. M41, M4A1, 76 coming around. The IS-2 will shoot here as well. Well, he's getting pinned down in the open. Whilst the A20C Boston will hit the armored rifle barracks in the north and get the kill. Boston Bomber, obviously a really good one. One of the fast ones. 390 is not that amazing, but good resilience. Also, I don't think absolute garbage turn rate, so can actually get out there quite rapidly as well. Not quite PE2 level, but one of the better Russian bombers, that's for sure. IS-2 here will keep the pressure on, and the IS-2 problem might get real for Wesley here. He doesn't really have an answer to those. Like, that's one of the main issues of the 3rd US, that for the real big heavy tanks, super heavies, they don't really have an answer. So the 81mm, I guess, are the best answer maybe, and like 351s, but the 351s can't come in really anymore. So maybe use the mortars to try to kill this one off, but he doesn't want to use the mortars too much, it looks like. Meanwhile, the Katyushas should be nearly reloaded by now. Yeah, they're getting there. And the Air Cobra is coming out for Kama. He obviously always likes to use his fighters for more than just air versus air combat. Always tries to get a bit more out of them. But with a 1-star Bofors, he has to be careful. Bofors gets a crit in there, but shouldn't be able to get the shutdown. Ooh, was that the caster curse on it? Getting actually pretty low there. Oh boy. But it will get out. E51 coming around as well. Bazooka coming around as well over here. The engine is sitting down here as well. Also, basically, Reeves now pays me for drinking water, so I am even forced to do that more now. Because now he also gets more points because he's subscribed. I think that's the only reason he's subscribed. He has the main goal of actually letting me drink too much and doing harm to myself by drinking like 8 liters per stream or so. Because he now gets double the points of double the channel points. How many more subs do we need? We have I already have a 30 mode ready to go. We need, I think, 5 more now, but let me double check in the next break. IS-2. I think it's 5 more. IS-2 holding down the range. T-34 76 coming around. So yeah, sell out, guys. Subscribe and you will get everyone gets the 30 mode. Like at least the subscribers and all the guys who pay channel points who get it. We have the Panzerfaust one ready to go. Like that one is the 30 mode. At the moment only for tier 2 subs, but I will make it tier 1 sub if we get a 3rd slot there. Valkyries firing over here for the armored rifles. SU-57 in the north. Together with an IS-2 and a T-3045 sitting in the open. Well, more T-3045s, like both T-3045s and IS-2s, will be rather annoying in the long run for Wesley to deal with. Because you only have one AT gun that can basically penetrate them, and that's the worst heavy AT gun in the game, with the M5 gun. So your options are really limited. T-34 76s just don't quite get the penetration. Like they can, in a good engagement, deal with T-3045s, but they can't really deal with IS-2s. So there's a lot of issues there. So if Karma doesn't slip up badly here, I would favor him quite a bit now. I mean, he has the AA, so that air doesn't really do much against him. He's still can bring in more ice tools, it looks like. And we saw when we checked his deck in the last series that he also builds for the late game, even with Vanguard decks. So I would expect there to be quite a bit of Karma left in his deck. Or quite a bit left in Karma's deck. Like, I guess he doesn't really have Karma in it. Don't know if you can store Karma in a deck. Or like, how you would rate Karma in a deck. Like, better put it that way. Does his deck have negative Karma? Positive Karma? We don't quite know. Is it positive Karma if he wins or if he loses? Questions over questions. E3476 comes around in the south, and yeah, we see more Katyushas. At least the game goes long enough that we actually see the Katyushas reloading. Something you don't see too often because the reload time really feels like it's hours. Like, especially if you have to use them yourself, it takes forever for them to get their second shot up. 820 Boston gets its salvo out. M15 is not on veterancy because the commander is not anywhere close to it. So it shouldn't be able to shoot down the 20. See? With the commander next to it, it might have been dangerous for the A20 to do that run. T-3045 though still goes down. Tried to hop onto the Jumbo 76 combo down here, but there were more 76s behind it. So T-3045 goes down. Strelkys have to disengage as well. More armored rifles coming in. The Jumbo 76 combo is usually good. Like in all other matchups, it's a pretty good combo, but in this matchup, I don't know how helpful it is. I guess it's still somewhat potent, but IS-2s just don't really care, and even T-3045s with the Model 44s, at least with their APCR shells, are quite dangerous to Jumbos as well. So, yeah. Bofors hitting the A20C. Tanks over here get pushed back. T-3476s though have to be careful against Germans. As those are also now A3 models, so they have 20 more frontal armor. 10 more frontal armor. 100 frontal armor is always annoying for T-34s that will try to penetrate. But Karma gets to 1311. 27 more minutes, guys, if we stay at this. Easy. Getting there to the 1 minute game, maybe? Are we? Are we getting there? Another M7 howitzer coming in. Armored rifles over here getting pushed by the Strelkys. And a P39Q15 Cobra. We'll try to make another strafing run, but I'm surprised that Karma actually tries that, because last time this Cobra nearly died to the Bofors. And like, if there would have been a second Bofors already, this Cobra wouldn't have survived that run. This way it should get out, as it isn't critted this time. As I say that, it gets critted, but it could be too far away now. Yes. Cobra gets out once more. Meanwhile, another A20 Boston run in the north coming in. Ooh, it's a close one, but yeah, I still don't see the win condition here. Anyone having a, like, chat, what would you do in Wesley's position here? Would you see any way of winning the game here? And if so, what would be the way? He brings in artillery, maybe, but I don't think 155mm deal that much damage against tanks either, so yeah, if he kills everything around the tanks, I guess. And another M1 gun comes in. Only, like, the difference between tiers, top tiers, is the price. So I would rather have it as tier 1 emote, because, look, yeah, having you subscribe with even more money to get those benefits, to get one extra emote is not really cool either. Just had it in there because I had the emote ready and it didn't have the slot yet. But yeah. 351 coming around. He already used 3 off maps, so I don't think he will have more off map. But even with off map, like, Will you get enough long-term here? The 155mm don't deal too much damage against the tank either, and so far Karma was pretty good in dodging the off-map, so... Yeah, but he doesn't have off-map left, I think. He shouldn't. As he has another... has one cut of 51mm obviously, and one cut of 105mm artillery. Losing a P51 now. Like, maybe he should focus on the town and try to get some really good trades there instead of trying to fight around here. Like, maybe that's the way of getting it. He obviously seems to try now with artillery. He lost quite a couple of Germans in the north right now. And Karma is sending a supply truck to fill out as a test unit onto the hill. Try to figure out what's up there. It is an empty supply truck. And that's the way to do it, guys. Don't send your empty off-map cars or so back, or your empty supply trucks. Don't fight for the KD. Fight for the victory and send your off-map trucks that are empty in there, or use them to reposition units. And same with the recon cars. Like, if it's empty and if it doesn't have an MG, it's still a bullet sponge, or still a unit to send first to see what comes. Or as the recon units also can control frontline, it's also a unit to maybe capture a cheeky flag. M3 here goes down. Well, the issue is 3rd US obviously is limited in infantry, and also I think overall doesn't go the deepest out of all the decks. So even with good trades, he might just run out of stuff and see earlier than... Like, I would guess he runs out of stuff earlier than Karma. So, yeah, I think he needs to do a play, but I don't quite see what the play is. Karma doesn't get the kill with his Katyushas, and his Katyushas died? Oh no! Oh, the 105mm actually hit both Katyushas, and that's why you don't play Katyushas, ladies and gentlemen. Because they're unarmored, slow reloading, medium damage output, costly units. And on this, which are not effective on long range. So, I guess that's a victory for Wesley for sure. Yeah, it's a sweet, sweet victory, because now he's the guy with artillery against no artillery. Question is, does he have enough supply trucks? Because he hasn't resupplied his mortar half-tracks yet. Also looks like he lost a mortar half-track over here. Not quite sure to what. Again. Yeah, that was the AA. Not quite sure what got the mortar half-track. But he lost one of those as well. But there's still 3 IS-2s around. Yes, one on the hill, one on the plateau over here in the valley, and one on the ridge over there. One half-track trying to go deep here, trying to be sneaky for Wesley, but not really achieving much. M10's now coming in for Karma. And the stalemate in the south and the north continues. Yeah, that was a big move for all the Twitch viewers out there who hoped for more juicy Katyushas hit. That's true. That's true. Benko Lesaniki here gets hit. And yeah, it slows down to a crawl now. Karma up 13-11. I guess he's fine with that. Doesn't really have to risk anything. Obviously, if you allow the enemy to flank you with Shermans, that gets nasty. So you don't want to push with your IS-2s and T-34s if you don't have to. That's where you give Shermans the opportunity to actually get you. Meanwhile, Karma invested the last couple of minutes into something different. Oh boy. The A-20C Boston bomber fleet arrives. And there's no P-51s around anymore to greet them, so... Yeah, 2 Bofors are not enough to deal with this. With the P-51 being shut down by the AA in the north, the E's are pretty devastating. Not actually hitting too much though, like the tanks are not even pinned down. So, the push of Karma might struggle more than he thinks against all these tanks. As the Strelkies only have AT grenades, so they have to get real close to actually use them. If Wesley is microing his tanks here somewhat carefully, he should be able to at least kill quite a couple of units off here. P34 already going down. Valky's getting hit over here. Now Karma unloads them. P51 coming in with bombs to stop Valky's as well a bit. Oh. P34 again for Karma on the hunt. But P51 should get out if it doesn't get killed off by the AA. But meanwhile, P39 here should go down. Two-star bow forces. I have to reload here, but that should still be enough. Yes, P39 goes too deep, gets shut down. But the Strelkies managed to get onto one of the Shermans. The Jumbo also is in danger. Ooh, the 50 cal here, saving it last second from the Strelkie. IS-2 though is on the hunt. The big boy arrived at the front line, and he isn't happy that all his infantry units get shut up, and it finishes the Jumbo off with one shot. And that might be the beginning of the end. Karma getting real deep in here. Is up to a 1410. I think that's it. Bofors over here, getting killed off. More armored rifles trying to come in, but yeah, this is the beginning of the end. Nice push there by Karma. Like, beginning it with a nice bombardment run, and also calling in the Strelkies just at the right time to follow it up. Like, that was pretty good timing there, and he had so much infantry already messed up here. And then the IS-2 coming around the corner. Yeah, all in all, a really nice play. Obviously based on that he didn't need to do much in the north for the last minutes, because 3 IS-2s and AA behind it locked down the north pretty well. Not much that the 3rd US can do about that. Now another Jumbo comes in the south, but that still doesn't fix the IS-2 problem here. Zuger gets killed off before it gets anywhere. Armored rifles are around, obviously, but yeah, sneaking them onto an IS-2 is hard, because they obviously affect the front line, so enemy sees what's going on, and I wouldn't expect Karma to miss macro against those. Still quite a couple of Strelkies died, but he should have enough reinforcements. Pushes the armored rifles out over here, and goes up to a 59. So it looks like we're getting close to the beginning of the end here. Well, it's another one of the last off maps that Wesley hits comes in over here, and I guess he sets up one final push in the center. He reinforced it quite heavily over the last couple of minutes already, so looks like he will go in for one last hooray himself after this off map hit the field. Because the south looks like he's not able to salvage that. And one gun's coming around, but yeah, it's just IS-2s. IS-2s are an issue for 3rd US. 3rd US just can't deal with that well. And here comes the off map. So here we go. Can Wesley make one push to change it all? Can the Hail Mary work out here? Or is it too late? One Jumbo down here in engagement. But the IS-2 is firing at it, and that's never a good sign. I mean, Jumbo obviously on long range has a solid chance of not getting penetrated, but one penetration is all the IS-2 needs. Though IS-2 by now turned off its AP shells, so it will take a while to kill Jumbos with HE shells, that's for sure. Off map. Stops firing now in the center. IS-2 had to retreat. Will we see now the beginning of the push? I think that's the moment, right? When the off maps starts to stop. Like, about to run out. Isn't that the moment to call the shot? Guess Wesley disagrees there with me. Meanwhile, another 820C Boston comes in the south. And yeah, without any P-51s around, these have free reign over these guys there. 105mm is also not firing at all. Would expect him to maybe lay down some smoke or so over here before the push starts, but looks like Wesley actually doesn't really want to push there. Will get the flag back on the hill, but it's still only 9:15 for him, so he needs more. It's one more off map down here, so yeah, he was really resourceful with the off maps. Called them in quite early, but didn't really use them till now. Meanwhile, Karma still uses the chance of using his A20 Bostons. There's not much AA on the side of Wesley and no fighters to be seen on the skies. And also, even if there would be fighters, the AA network of Karma protects A20 Bostons relatively well as well. Bombs keep on falling up here. Wolverine though, or M10, didn't really work out there for Karma, but he still has complete control of the self. Off-map now coming in, and that's the moment. This off-map now is the signal. Kills off the SIS-2 instantaneously. Will he make it work? Can he actually break through here? Off-map tank goes down, but that obviously wasn't the most important one. Question is about all the other Germans. T-3045 gets killed up on the hill. Ice-2 tries to come around to kill the Jumbo off before it gets away. There's quite a couple of armored rifles though coming around as well. But in this close combat, the Ice-2 should be able to kill the Jumbo. So Jumbo goes down. Ice-2 relatively unpinned over here. How deep can Wesley go? Already brought it back to a 12-12. Obviously the situation itself still pretty shitty. But can he make any great moves here? More and more Shermans coming in. It's quite a lot of Shermans here. Rolling in there. A couple of M1 guns coming up as well. I'm really surprised to see the M15, the 105mm guns be silent. I would have just put them on out of fire basically before starting this push, but maybe Wesley forgot about them. If you're a bit too zoomed in, like if you're in this position or so, then you forget that you have them in the rear sometimes, even on the highest level of play. One more M1 gun in the south. Might be one of the last things that he has left in his deck. And a Vanguard, 3rd US. And yeah, here we go. Push, reach the other side of the hill. Or the other hill. Is now going up there, but I don't really see where this can go. More T-3485s come in. Still 3 Ice-2s around. The 76 is over here getting killed off, and yeah, it's a nice try here. But I don't see that working out at all. So Perry's coming in here for Wesley as CQC infantry. And one gun getting engaged. Hey, at least the transmission damage on this Ice-2. So with the side shots from here, maybe? Maybe you can at least get one here. If he gets both, then the situation might change a bit. He gets the first Ice-2. Second Ice-2 should be fine though, as it kills the one flanking M1 gun. Now can face these M1 guns with its frontal armor again. And the Shermans over here get any kills. We will try out to T-35. There's 3 of those. Ooh, the one goes close though. That's not a good idea for Karma, yeah. He has to disengage. T-35 over here goes also down. So only 5 tanks remaining for Karma in the north. 6th round coming in. Boston Bombers coming in as well to help out. But Wesley is doing some damage up here. Boston Bomber though is quite devastating as all the Shermans are clumped up together. He's microing a bit there. Get a bit more spacing in there, but still the Boston Bomber absolutely devastating, killing even a couple of Shermans with its bombs. And that might be it. Though at the same time he kills the IS-2 over here. So is there hope? Can Wesley do it with this Hail Mary push based on 2 of maps that got the enemy a bit out of position? Or is it too much for Karma with the air and all the heavier tanks? This Karma also obviously still has the south, so that's like that's the big issue. Wesley has to go real deep in the north to actually get taking again. He already got the hill, but still only a 12-12. He needs more flags. A20 Bostons come in one more though. And the P51 might be able to catch up by the 37 meters. Will the 37mm force it back? Yes. As it's fighter bombers, so after halfway stress, it already has to return home. And actually, there's enough 37mm and enough defensive fire from the A-20 Bostons to get it shut down. So, another fighter bomber going down for Wesley, and that should be the beginning of the end. Now, this really should be it. The push should be stopped here now. If Kama is not completely out of stuff, he should be able to deal with it, as he still has all the A-20 Bostons. And there's not enough AA fire to really deal with that. And by now, the number of Shermans is also heavily reduced. But we still have one IS-2 around here. And 4 T-34-85s. The south is still in disarray. For Wesley. 49 minutes. The parries. And another SIS-2 gun coming in over here. Try to return this flag under the control of Kama. Rifles getting hit here by the IS-2. So 485's going into CQC fight. Not really quite sure if you want to do that, actually. And that, I think, looks like the best way of allowing Wesley one more chance of getting all your T-34-85s killed. But the A-20 Bostons will be relentless from now on out. Yeah, it was a good pick here by Kama, for sure. Looks like a pretty nice one to deal with the 3rd US Armored. And maybe one to remember for the future, guys. If you're in the same matchup. Your opponent picks the 3rd US. Maybe you want to pick the 29th as well. You can mirror their half-tracks in the early game, because you get quite a couple of yourself. Your infantry is more numerous, and the tank matchup looks really tilted in favor of 29th here. If you get the right map. Like, if you get something like a Cell or so, obviously not. There, the Germans will destroy you. But anything with somewhat open terrain, like this map, your IS-2s and T-34-85s should be just fine. I'm pretty sure Kama is out of IS-2s. 29th doesn't have quite as many as other divisions, but... Wait, who surrendered? What? Oh, what? What did just happen? I guess Kama crashed here? Which means Wesley somehow won this one. Oh god. Not like this. Not like this. Or was he empty out of stuff? Was he out of stuff? Oh no. This is... I can't say anything, but Wesley won this one. Wesley won this one. Oof. I mean, he did a good he gave us a good match here, so it's not feeling completely out of place. It wasn't like Kama was absolutely dominating him and then Kama dropped out, but Wesley got the victory here. Big oof. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Well, rules state... Yeah, the rules say that it's this way, so... yeah, Wesley gets the victory. Oof. Oh, what a game one. Like, 51 minutes with this ending? Oh boy. Oh boy. Russian internet, guys. Russian internet. Big F in the chat, please. Once for the Russian internet there. Okay. Finally some drama in League. Well, after this insane game, I need a short break, guys. I will be back with game number 2 in a couple of minutes. See you all there. See you all there. In game number yeah, number 2 of this series. Hopefully no disconnects there, guys. Hopefully no disconnects there. Then the drama would be real. We will be on Slot's Quest in game number 2. So it is time for the mid-match Matcherino shout out. All of you guys can support the league, and all of you guys don't even have to be as cool as Jabo for it. You don't have to contribute directly. You can, obviously, if you're an absolute Chad. Or whatever the female form of that is. I'm not sure if it's gender, like, for both gender, but whatever. You can also use code SDL5. Don't have to pay anything. And still add 50 cents to your prize pool. That will be paid out to one of the community members who does well in the tournament later on. So, be a nice guy. Use the code SDL5 and add 5 cents to your prize pool via the Matcherino link that you can now find in chat or down in the description if you are at YouTube. Now, let's get back in there, into the action. And let's jump into game number 2, which is a really interesting matchup. After the disaster that ended on the end of the last game, we are now on Slut's Quest, and the pick of Karma on the right side, of Wesley on the right side, is rather standard. Not the greatest division, I think, for Slut's Quest, but okay. It's third mechanized, third guards mechanized, but on the same Karma also playing third, but not third US, not third guards tank core, but third Fallschirmjäger. So, what? Like, this is not the third Fallschirmjäger map. But, hey. Karma, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I don't think it's a good one, but Karma obviously doesn't really care about what we plebs think what is good and what is not. He plays division that he likes, and he plays it better than we could play the best divisions out there, so who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? Luck 3's coming around, so even though we have a Fallschirmjäger, the third mechanized is the first one to use bombers, to use the plane play. But a Flak 41 already on the way, deal with that, and nice dodge there with the MG42, saves it from being completely killed. Still goes down to only 1 strength, but yeah, Karma also coming in here again with air micro on his ME109, gets it to get a better turn. Ooh, just attack from the tad too early, so it had to balance out, but it's a quicker plane here, I would guess, compared to Luck. Yeah, Luck 3s are one of the slowest fighter planes out there, so ME109 is on the way of catching up, but not quite getting there. Also, Wesley with a really deep AA setup of 237mm. And so far, it's a 13-11 for Wesley, as he, as usual, on Slut's Quest, takes the flag over here. It's the standard start on this map for the red side, trying to get into this village, because there's no road for the other side leading there. But the other side can use this road. It's risky, and in the mid game it doesn't work out anymore, so reinforcing this town is rather annoying for the red side, but in the early game it can take it relatively easily. Whilst the reinforcement through the forest over here is rather secure for the blue side, but it takes a bit longer. But if you have an AT gun over here, you can really shut down all the reinforcements into it. T-34 76 will still try to get in there though, and there's no AT gun here for Karma, so it might be lucky and actually get there. Might actually be lucky and get there. Meanwhile, we will return to a jazz playlist. I think that's the best fitting music here. And let's see how this all goes. Matcherino over here, getting engaged by Fallschirmjäger Sturmjägers, and they are able to kill them off. 2 MG42s and 2 FG42s and 6 MP44s, so one of the highest DPS units in the game, having an insane DPS of 4 for an infantry unit. It's really, really insane. Like, I don't think there is one with more, even though this is a 10-man squad. I think it might have the highest infantry DPS in the game. Well, I guess some of the CQC squadrons, some of the big CQC squadrons, like the ones with Thompsons, with 12 Thompsons in 126 and so on, has more DPS, but obviously only at point blank range. Whereas these guys already have insane DPS at 300 meters, and even above 300 meters are one of the highest DPS units on that range, so really prime units for everything. But maybe CQC, like everything above 100 meters is excellent territory for these guys. Yeah, the Moscow autos have better DPS, but only on point blank range. Those have a DPS of 6, I think, so even 2 more, as all the Thompsons have 0.5, and those are 12-man squads, but still. Dominguez doing a really great job, but obviously you also pay quite a hefty price for getting that damage out there. Matcherino is getting everyone in position. T-34-76 coming around. And the Flak 36 coming in here as well. You don't want to get an income disadvantage in the early game against third mechanized though. So I think the Vanguard versus Vanguard matchup is the right choice here. You can out-trade them in the late game anyways. Like third mechanized is insane in the early game, and it's not as amazing in the late game anymore. So you want to just stop the early game, because third mechanized gets its really good combined arms from the get-go, and really doesn't change that throughout the game. Like it's Shermans plus Partisanis or Tango-Sanikis plus some SIS-2 guns, and then a couple of MG42s mixed in there, and then in the air a couple of Lux and a couple of 37mm, like all pretty affordable. But there's no late game unit that you can't send in, or like the really expensive units. Like there's no heavy tanks, there's no T-35s or so that you can spice up your formations with. So you only get more of your stuff, you don't get better quality stuff, or like more combined arm stuff as third mechanized. But as the enemy usually doesn't have as good combined arms in the early game as you do with third mechanized, you usually can quite heavily punish them for that in the early game. So Karma has to hold against that with another Vanguard. Like I would never play with a weaker income in the early game against third mech. It just usually doesn't work out. Like we have seen it a couple of times over the last weeks and so on, and it never looked nice. The third mech usually just steamrolled them. But it will not happen this, like, Karma gets the same income, so he's a bit better prepared than others maybe. Get a more AA here for Wesley, even brings out the ZSUs. So 2 cards of AA in A phase, interesting. ZSUs and 37mm. Brings in the second ZSU, so really prepared to see a lot of airplay from Karma, who himself invests into a shit ton of AA. Like 3 Flak 36s already, 2 Flak 41s, but it's obviously Stutz Quest after all, so pushing here is pretty hard, pretty tough, and you rather want to stay a bit more defensively. We now have a Panzerschreck and 2 Faltermeteors in here. Flak 40 also coming up together with an MG42, so the flag should be secured for Karma now in the south. Stuk watching the open field as well. And we see a commander coming in already for Karma. None on the side of Wesley yet, who brings in the Valentine. So veterancy advantage might go to Karma for a while. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where this goes. But it looks like both sides are really happy with going into a long one here. Yeah, it looks like this might go in a really long run here. Like with him not pushing in the early game at third mech, I see the chances of Karma rising and rising by the minute, because the combined arms just gets better and better here. Gets Püppchen in there, gets veterancy in there, gets more Sturks. They're good against Germans as well in numbers. So, yeah, Valentines are not that amazing in this matchup because they're good against tanks, not so good against anything else, so yeah. TFHH2, no it is not. It's replay cast. Rajvetka coming in. We're not casting the games live because we had too many, like there was already so many replays and the time of waiting for the players to get ready for the next game with maybe taking a break in between and so on. And then also the stream delay and so on takes too much time. And with there being so many games to cast in the playoffs, in the group stage times, we just do them as replays. So we can hop from one into the next one. Speed up the time a bit so we don't have to wait through all the deployment phase, time as well, and just get into the next cast. Another Flak 41 coming up. More 37mm as well. This game, if I remember correctly, was played yesterday. Might have been on Monday already though. So it's recent, but it's not live. Ultramega Scharfschützen coming around. Because I have casted too many live games by now to bother with it in the group stage times. It just means that we will get less games to cast. It just means that in the time we are waiting for the games to start and so on, we could have casted another series. Yeah, Wesley is playing really passive here. Now he goes in with a Luck 3. I guess he wants to see where the enemy units are. But he doesn't even have artillery to follow that up with. Me109 from Kama comes around. Well, now strafe infantry unit. Commander on the side of Wesley out as well now. So we have a 3-star 37mm and a, yeah, quite a bit more AA. This Me109 should be toast. If it focus fire is on, yeah, focus fire is on the Me109. That what? No, Me109 goes down, yeah. 37mm over here is now also 2-star veterancy. And now we got some 120mm mortars. Right, if I remember correctly, the ones in 3rd mech don't have radios. So they're not the most amazing 120mm mortars out there. Like 41 coming around over here. The MG42 sitting around here. And the Püppchen sitting in the bushes. Ultramega setting set up everywhere as well. Sturmjäger. Only one squad of those has been called in so far, if I see correctly. More Ultramega Scharfschützen coming in as well. And the first Luftwaffe-Jäger hitting the field. Well, the Luck 3 coming in? Why? Just saw that 8. Okay, I guess he wants to see the... But you still haven't fully set up your mortars. Wait till you have set up your battery completely, no? Then try to use it. I think Wesley got a bit too trigger happy there. Like, wanted to see it too early a bit. 4 more Valentines coming in. Like, I don't get the Valentines either. The Valentines feel odd. Maybe he just doesn't have another... Like, no, he has Shermans and A, so he should have more Shermans here, right? I would say. Also, we are in B phase now, so... Yeah. Feels odd. Feels odd to me. Still hasn't used the 120mm mortar to try to attack the enemy. AA. Well, I guess he doesn't have much more AT in A phase. That's why the Püppchen. I mean, the Püppchen are pretty good. If anything, pushes into him. And it's just another nice... I mean, the map is not amazing for Püppchen, but it still can use it on a couple of spots. Like on the plateau over here, if anything pushes up, Püppchen. In the forests over here, if something gets too close, Püppchen. Obviously 500 meter range is a bit limited though. I gotta agree. And you already have something like an LG42, so these have 10 damage on their heat shells as well. I guess you maybe should have used the slot for something else, like on a map like this at least. Like Pipkin are amazing on something like Cell or Orsha North, but on the map like here, I guess the Pack 42, what's its name again? Would have been better. It's Pack 42, right? The small one. The Gaelic? Is it the Gaelic? I think it's the Gaelic. So, yeah, both sides playing a really slow early game with Vanguard matchup. All the units being pushed back here. 120mm mortar fire coming in. Vulture 81mm coming in. If I remember correctly, these are the ones with the mortars, right? With the radios, right? The reason why the new first Vulture Makers is insane on the artillery tab, because they get like 4 cards of these. So, if they're in range, and they might be, yeah, they should be in range to be used as counter battery here, it could be devastating from the 120mm. Also, we see some L6s coming in. But yeah, both sides don't want to push at all. It's gonna be a grind. What we get into here. yeah, I mean, also the division just sounds amazing. Like, it is the best possible Nemesis scenario, I think. Like, out of the choices, it was the best already in the first run, and it is for sure the best now in the rerun when that finally happens. I would guess we will get the rerun of the second places for the Nemesis after the launch of the Baltics, because then after the Baltic launch they should be getting ready for the Toulon launch, and whilst doing that, I guess the next vote for the Nemesis after that will happen. Like, that's usually how they did it before. So yeah. Yeah, pronouncing all these, like, yeah, Hungarians and Finnish names, those are interesting languages. Romania also, like, and I don't have the advantage of Vulcan HD Gaming, of having a Romanian girlfriend, so yeah, I struggle with that a bit. Ah, right, he doesn't have radio, so actually his counterfire isn't too effective against the 120mm mortars. He has to be a bit lucky here, because he fires them on max range, 81mm. We will see. Maybe he gets some kills here with the counter battery. For now, the 120mm can't retaliate at least, because they don't have supplies, but supply truck already on the way. And battery Führer here coming in as well. More Luftwaffejäger hitting the field. Meanwhile, the Stuk sitting on the hill. Ooh, nice shot there by the 81mm. One tapping, this, like, yeah, one shell, one kill there onto the 120mm. Not taking any damage, but just completely getting obliterated by one shell. Stuk 3 holding down the road, but there's a couple of Sis-2s, so it shouldn't go too deep. Meanwhile, the Sturmjägers and the Fallschirmjäger Pioneer pushing in into some Partisanis. You don't want to get too close here. You really want to keep your distance. You don't want to run into any Molotovs, but Karma does that really well. Karma does that amazingly well. Partisan is getting pinned down overall. But the Fallschirmjäger Sturmjäger beat Fallschirmsturmjäger. Obviously not Fallschirmjäger Sturmjäger, that's double Jäger, that doesn't work out. But the Fallschirmsturmjäger beat a Molotov to their face. Which is the unit you want to have that happen to at least. Like, rather send some Luftwaffejäger first. If they eat a Molotov, doesn't kill too many points, basically. Like, each man in this squadron is worth less points than each single man in the Sturmjäger one. So, let them be the bullet sponges. Meanwhile, Flak 41's now starting to help out with direct fire against the infantry down here. Thank goodness Anikis. So, yeah. We're starting to see Wesley being pushed back a bit. And his 120mm mortar got sniped over here now, thanks to the Fallschirmjäger Scharfschützen working as recon. More 120mm mortars now coming in for him in the center. But that's already the first casualties for him there in the artillery war. And it looks like the artillery war might be what decides this game, as we're getting close to C-phase. Well, boys, we're settling for a long one here, I think. We can settle in for a long one. Yeah, but don't count on me on pronouncing the Finnish divisions and the names correctly. It's not gonna come from me, that perfect pronunciation. Already struggling with the German one, because I'm like caught between trying to pronounce them German and then also anglicizing them and like Stuck, whatever. Sturmgeschütz. Should I pronounce them completely German? Should I anglicize them a bit? Yeah, it's always a bit Panzer IV, Panzer IV, whatever. Already caught in that trap, so yeah. Everything but German is even tougher. English I kind of manage as well, I guess. But Russian and so on. 81mm mortar coming in. Against the Tanko de Saniki. Guardias. And now, yeah, now that the 81mm mortars can use their radios, they become really deadly. They become really deadly. Yeah, this matchup is a really odd one. Like, I'm not quite sure what we're seeing here. It's completely different from what we've ever seen before. Yeah, like, both sides... I get why Karma isn't being the aggressor, but Wesley giving up on the aggressor part of the whole matchup for the first 20 minutes, basically, was really surprising. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Well, he is on hiatus for now, Reef. He isn't really doing like much video game wise lately. So, yeah, can't answer that really. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you pronounce everything completely German, everyone might be a bit weirded out. So, even if I speak with another German person in the game, I use the English language, the English pronunciation often. It's kind of odd. It's kind of odd, but hey, that's how the internet works, guys. That's how the internet works. So yeah, the 120mm mortars of Wesley also deal a bit of damage, but radio mortars are just so good. Everything here is nearly pinned down. Now the Fallschirm Pioneers come in. Luftwaffenjäger should be a bit more up front, maybe. But the Tanko Zanikis are pinned down, so no Molotovs from there. Guardians don't have Molotovs. Auto Convertis neither, so the Pioneers will win this CTC fight pretty decisively. The Luftwaffe could have followed up a bit better, maybe. Also might die to the 120mm fire here. Matcherino Pioneers struggling a bit here against the Priest Average. Really, really good 120mm shell there. That's why you take 120mm if you can get them with radio. Like, the 120mm has so much DPS, but the normal version is a bit because it is so inaccurate. But if you can make these shells also accurate, thanks to radio, like in 30 VDV, then they're just insane. Or American 107mm mortars with radio, also really, really good. So Karma finally got the stalemate broken. Got the 1311 here. Starts to take down Wesley a bit, but... Oof. Doesn't look like the game really took up any speed. It was just a bit of a grind, and now Wesley doesn't have much here, but Karma doesn't have much here either, so push will not really continue. But we might see a longer 1311 takedown here now. We finally got away from the 12-12 again, yeah. Fallschirm Scharfschützen coming in, Pack 40 coming in. It's interesting PTRD swat, by the way, here. Nice sneak there by Wesley. And more Flak 41s, because keep away all the aircraft there. Like, the Flak 41 battery by now might be able to just one-shot planes coming in. It's 5 Flak 41s on the battlefield in the center itself. So, yeah, one plane coming in, or I guess it's the west of... No, it's the south. Yes, this is west, that must be south. That's north, that's east. Yeah, so, yeah, in the south. Actually using the map and how it is built up to predict where what is what. Insane. I can't play GeoGuessr now. Nice strikes here by the mortars, but they don't really kill anything right now. 120mm mortars now try to snipe the enemy mortars, so maybe we see it now this time Wesley killing some artillery with artillery. We will have to see. Some off-map now coming in for Wesley in the north, and he sets up an insane tank push here. Let's see if that goes anywhere. So having it the Valentines in it means you have to basically send the Valentines in 20 minutes earlier, and then send in the Shermans, and they will catch them 5 minutes, 5 meters away again, and actually race in front of them. Let's see where this all goes. The 1mm are forced back, but hey, 1311 here for Kama, who now tries to use Scharfschützen as recon. Can he actually see the MCHAs? I'm not quite sure. Off map coming in. So Wesley sets up a nice another push, similar to what we saw last game. Will we see it work out the same this time, or will it hopefully not end in Karma disconnecting? Like, oh boy. Please not. Whew. LG42 coming in. More L6s. And here's fingers crossed that we don't see Karma disconnect. 15 tanks. Ready to go. Fired up. Ready to go. Actually 17 tanks if you count in these two Valentines. And even more Shermans hitting the field. Also 2 more Shermans up here, so we could see quite a couple of tanks trying to get somewhere. Oh boy, it starts moving. It lives! It's alive! Or not? I guess it was a hoax after all. He baited me. Not gonna lie. He got me there. He got me there. I thought he would finally move out. I guess I was wrong. What is also a bit early maybe to move out. Like, come on, it's not even half an hour. Why should you make a push here as Vanguard? What's that insanity? Pushing as Vanguard. What are we playing here? It's total destruction, right? That's not a... this is not a... maybe it looks for us like they played conquest mode battle, but actually it was totally destruction and we just don't see it that way. Maybe that's what it's all about. Like, is it a victory if you haven't destroyed any single unit of the enemy yet? Is it really a victory? More Valentines hitting the field. Well, you see, now we wait 30 minutes and then we have 24 tanks attacking Reef. Is it then your kind of game? Is it just that the number is too low? Like, waiting 20 minutes for 15 tank push is not okay, but if we wait 40 minutes for 50 tank push, is it then fine? We will see. We will see. Also, I don't even think that this tank push will decide anything. Like, that might kill a couple of things and then it might get pushed back again. We will see. But yeah, I'm not 100% confirmed on that actually winning the game now. T-34 over here gets killed. Emcha gets forced to retreat. So at the same time where we have the insane push in the north, we also have an insane push in the south. If both succeed, we might split the map this way and have a completely new map at hand. Basically, it's Orshar, but with a bit more open territory then. Slutsk, the normal Slutsk, but instead of a bit of town fight, we would get even more open terrain. Hey! Yeah. Let's see. Flag 41, number 1 is taken out. Second one now is retreating. So are the LG42s and so on. Stuks retreating also a bit. The push is coming in. Off map still going on at the front, but at the same time Karma pushing in the south. Oh boy. This is a lot of Shermans, not gonna lie. Combined with quite a couple of Valentines as well, and now comes the infantry there. To make it real combined arms, guys. This is not a tanks push, this is a combined arms push. Don't you see the 5 Guardia trucks coming in? This is complete combined arms. This is highly versatile formation. It has 2 different kinds of tanks. It has a couple of MG42s even mixed in. And then it has a couple of Guardias just spread in front of it. So supreme combined arms. Also a couple of SIS-2s. That's actually makes it quite useful, and the AA is somewhat catching up. Yeah. Feels kind of like World War I 1918, but instead of Mark 5s we get Shermans. this gameplay, and we don't get enough artillery. We get way too little artillery here for it to be a good gameplay. We need more artillery. If you give us World War I style gameplay, at least go the full way. One off map wasn't enough. You would have had to call in at least 3 more. Give us the real World War I experience here, guys. HS 1 to 9 ducks are on the hunt now, though. Quack, quack, quack. And it gets the first M shot. And the second M shot. Now it has to return home. And the first HS 1 to 9 bites the dust. Second one looks like it will get out. So maybe the AA is too much. It looks like it will get out, and the Luck 3 here might be in danger, because it's a lot of Flak 41s firing at it. So only one of the... yeah, there goes the Luck 3. Meanwhile, the push of Karma over here, not going anywhere really either, but he might get at least 1 flag out of it. So there is another off map here for Wesley. I think one Stuk got killed over here. Yeah, Stuk got killed up the hill. And Wesley is getting deeper. Black 36 here shouldn't take that engagement. Stuk trying to get some kills here. Oh, but it's shooting a long way. A couple of Pipkin coming in here over here. Tries to stop units moving up the hill. Bailed out here on the Emcha. Panzer L6 getting killed off. Type 40 opening fire up onto infantry in the north right now. Has Kara called in his off map yet? I think he might have called it on the infantry here. I think I saw some shells popping there, so tanks will not be hit by that. Now Wesley hitting with off map over here. Kamado is the one going up to the 1311 actually, as he captures the flag down here. And yeah, it looks like we might go for this split. Looks like we might go for this split. With maybe a pocket for Karma over here, and maybe a small pocket for Wesley over here. The A over here has nearly died though, so Pack 3 nearly was able to drop its bombs, but not quite. Another Pack 40 for Karma coming in. Karma calling in another off map, which looks like it might hit quite a couple of tanks. Yeah, they whiffed the mortar fire, which bites the dust. Okay, now hitting onto the Shermans over here. 2 seconds. And this is a prime off map here. Ooh, and nice shell hit there. Forces them back into the mortar fire. First one bites the dust. Mortar fire not quite hitting though for Karma. Look, now trying to come around, trying to kill off a couple of tanks there. Another B3 now coming in. One of the 45mm. Kills the first German there, kills another one. But gets killed off as well. Stuk gets killed off by the Valentine. Valentine might get killed off by the mortars though, but the mortars get pinned down by off-map as well. This time the Luck 3, nope, still not getting through. Another Stuk kill though, another Pack 40 coming in. Pack 40 over here, doing its best, killing a Sherman. Pack 41 around, Püppchen might want to move in now. They're getting caught up in the open if they move here. They're just here to hold the hill. Meanwhile, Karma didn't get the flag over here. But Valentine's pushing into flag 41 isn't the best idea. Now Wesley realizes this as well. Is disengaging, also single Valentine against 2 Stuks. Not a great idea either. It looks like Wesley is winning the north, slowly but surely. Loses another Valentine though, so yeah, he lost quite a lot of tanks here. But for now it looks like he will take over the north. Ooh, Galias, where do you unload? Oh no, you go a bit too deep here. You go a bit too deep. Hopefully Wesley unloads you. Hopefully for you. Oh no, the Püppchen have to readjust. Okay, but the Galias are going way too deep. Oh, but they all fired the same one. The second Galia will get killed off by Fallschirmjägers though. And Scharfschützen. Yeah. The other Guardians go around. What is flag over here? Flag 41 might end them though. Yes, ends them. So Wesley still struggles to get the flags in the north. Kills the mortars off now with his Guardias. LG42 though starts to engage onto the Guardias over here. Fallschirm battery further gets pushed back. Guardias here. Just chill. Me109 comes in with some bombing run against him. Hunts them down. More Fallschirmjägers coming in. Flag 3 will kill off the LG42 though. And we are back to a 12-12 situation. Hey. Hey. Okay, Valentine goes down. 12-12 continues. Karma will now try to push in over here. Quite a couple of forces. Guardias over here. Getting pinned down by the Fallschirmjägers. But not losing a single man there. One goes down in the end. Alt 6 coming in. Fallschirmjägers heavily outgunned and outnumbered as Germans and a lot of Guardias firing at them. And no more off-map for Karma it looks like. This game. This game. Valentine's and Amchas now moving up the hill? What? You just got blown to smithereens by Püppchen. Why would you go up the hill? I'm questioning Wesley's move here. Oh no. He's moving everything up the hill? Please. Please. Don't do that. Oh boy. That would be quite costly. Like, yeah, he gets the flag here for a second, but Fallschirmjäger now moves in. You just take it back. Yeah, shouldn't move too far. But yeah, everything coming up that hill. We'll have a rough time. Like, obviously, he will get them killed off with this amount of tanks, but it will take him a while. And then even the Flag 41 might come around again. Also means that he loses his fire support for the north, so the L6 alone can now just control the area, which just was insane. I mean, there's still a flag over here to capture, right? I don't get it. I mean, okay, L4 will most likely end it, but The AA actually hasn't pushed forward enough, so the IL-4 might actually be shut down by an ME-109. And here we go. ME-109 comes in. Like 41 helps out against the L2. Maybe ME-109 was a bit early. Actually, yeah, it was a bit early. Yeah, a tad early. Otherwise, it would have had a bit more time on target. Okay. Where are we going here? Guardias looks like they will take out the Flag 43 eventually. Another off-map car coming in. What are you all doing here? How are you feeling? Oh god. This game. This game. LG42 will now deal with the Guardias, and the LG42 also obviously helps out against the tanks if they ever move up there. Like, that would be absolute suicide. What is he trying to do here? And why do you play so defensively if you only have a couple of off-maps and 120mm mortars in your deck? Like, I really don't get the gameplay of Wesley in this one. It's really like he seems to play for the disconnect. Like, not gonna lie, that's... I mean, the big push in the north actually, against the lesser player, it would have won the game. It's not like he plays absolutely terrible, but... Like, with what he has on the ground, he doesn't play terrible, but the unit compositions he creates are pretty awkward, and the shots he makes. Is the Red Air Force completely gone? No, but there's enough AA to stop it. Wait. But that's okay. 120mm mortars finally found a good target. Trying to hit the Pipkins over here. That's annoying. Will they get counter batteried by the... No, the 81mm mortars are not in range this time. Luxor pushing in. We have a constant fight for this flag down here, and Wesley finally wins it, brings it to 13-11. Hey, we got the other side ticking down and finally again. Well, I don't think Wesley has many tanks remaining in his deck. If he loses, like, I don't think he can afford the losses here. Moving up, he will lose, like, basically all his Shermans. I don't think he can quite afford that. Like, sure it will, sure he will get the hill, but well, if he, yeah, with the parries and so on, he can take it. Like, some more infantry here would be nice for Karma. Maybe some Fallschirmjäger Panzerabwehr or so. Like, stuff like that would be pretty nice. Now, Wesley can take it. With the Saparis coming up, he's absolutely in a good spot to take it. But yeah, Tsunonomi, this is a pretty weird game. We saw 20 minutes of Vanguard versus Vanguard Cold War. And then we saw 125 tank push in the north that now got us here. Meanwhile, in the south, Karma pushed over the open with all his stuff, basically. And got up to this flag, and now it's a stalemate here as well. And yeah, it's quite a thing here. Like, it's nothing I've ever seen before. That's for sure. Now, he needs infantry to attack the hill, because there's no infantry on the other side. So with infantry, he can break that. Karma now bringing in Fallschirmjägers, I guess. But that's a bit late. Yeah. Like, now, with half-tracks and Zaparis, he can absolutely break it. Now the Pipkin will waste their shots onto the half-tracks and also will be pinned down just after. Or not. They still hit onto the Shermans, but they... What? None of them penetrates? What? Oh, that was unlucky, to say the least. Okay. 200mm of pen chance actually are not enough to pen a Sherman. I guess... I guess freedom is too strong for that. The freedom plot armor Democracy protects us all, guys. Democracy protects us all. Okay. HS1 to 9 still did pretty decently, and we still have a couple of pack 40s and so on around, so overall still quite a couple of tanks died here. One Valentine over here. A couple of half-tracks, 2 Shermans over here, 1 Sherman over here, and another half-track. So still 3 Shermans and a Valentine. Got killed off there in the end. And Luck 3 gets it. I guess with enough willpower you can survive Pipkin shot. With enough willpower you just bounce it. That's the way. You just have to be a strong Soviet tank driver, tank crew, then just can't do anything against you. You say no, and there it goes. Like 3 here coming in with the bombing run. Okay, kill the pack 40. Couple of AT guns coming up over here. Now unloading. Flak 41's against the Flak 3 over here. This Flak 41 is out of HE cells. Vulture Meager and Storm Eagers against the Guardias. Get the kill. 13-11 for Wesley, still. Who is on the hill. Vulture Meagers coming in once more. And more Vulture Meager coming in. Well, Pipkin don't have the best accuracy, but with 2-star veterancy, it's still decent enough. Just the penetration doesn't make any sense. Like, they don't penetrate. I don't get it. Yeah, with 50-minute time limit, it would be pretty cool right now. We would be in a really tense moment right now. Without it, hey, the grind continues. The grind continues. Well, he might run out of AT guns relatively soon, sure, but we don't have seen any Pack 36 8s, so that's a new card. And I'm pretty sure by now that Wesley is basically out of tanks. Like, he might have 1 or 2 more Shermans, 1 more leader Sherman coming in there, but I don't think he has that much more than that. He used so many Shermans here, and he's a Vanguard deck after all. Like, I don't think he has like 2 or 3 C-Phase cards. Like, I guess he has 1 C-Phase cards of Sherman. Because we already saw 2 Sherman cards and a Valentine card in A, I think. And then the Recon T-34s in A as well. But yeah. But yeah, this game is just getting into an insane moment right now. Aisle 4 coming in. Dahlia's opening fire onto something. Okay. Vulture Me is also firing back, which is obviously not good for the Guardias in the open. 2 MG34s deal more damage than 1 DP28 on that range. Waffe Jäger not getting pinned down here, really. ME109 this time should get the L4. This time it really went too deep. Or not. What? He did retreat him itself. He obviously didn't want it to go too deep there. ME109 still might go down here. Ooh. Yeah, ME109 still goes down and the L4 lives. Oh boy, that's unlucky for Kama. At least he gets a Luck 3 instantaneously for it though as well, so yeah. Flag 41 not want to get that one through. Okay. 120mm mortar still firing over here. Supplies going relatively low though by now. E64 coming around. Spoiler alert, this is not gonna end anytime soon, guys. This is not gonna end anytime soon. 3 more Shermans coming around in the north. Yeah, I'm gonna speed it up soon. I'm gonna speed it up soon. Storm Eagers against Automachikis. Over here. And the Cubal ammunition Yeah, there's some faltering punts everywhere. There they are. They would have been necessary earlier up this hill. They would have been quite helpful, I think. But they come in here now. Yeah, it's an insane game. I'm not gonna lie. Wesley now up to a 13-11. Exactly. So, sadly, we don't have we don't have Sean this season due to it starting around Chinese New Year and so on. So we only have J.K. Omamori from the Chinese region this season, from Taiwan. All the other guys sadly didn't join this season, but hopefully we will see them back. Also, maybe we will see ZZ back one day, or like people like Legend and so on. Would be pretty nice to get a bit more Asian participation. Though we at least have some one Iranian player, one Indian player, and one Vietnamese player in this season. So there is some Asian participation this season already again. Yeah, would be cool to get it more though. Like obviously, I'm still super there for getting Ku back on board, getting a bit more Koreans in there again. But at the moment, it's mostly dominated by Europeans, and then some, like one group of Americans per division basically, other than Division 1. And yeah, like Russians and Ukrainians, and then like, yeah, a lot of Polish players, quite a couple of Spanish this season, and then yeah, Germans, British, Belgian, all mixed. Austrians obviously as well, quite a couple of good ones. JKV and El Bowser at least in Division 1 and 2. But yeah, L4 still keeps on surviving here, which is really annoying for Karma. Whilst Karma somehow takes the flag in the middle back. Woo! By like having all the fire support from back here, so the tanks can't stay on top. His infantry is better than Wesley, so Wesley has to respect that. And this way we end up with the Shermans and Valentines cower behind the ridge again and hope that they don't get found by any AT guns. Got a Pak 40 over here engaging some Shermans, which so far is not going well for the Pak 40 at all. And it doesn't get better. Yeah, quite a couple of Shermans here around again. So yeah, we are over 50-minute mark. I will now speed it up to 2 times. And you can also finish your Spanish and your chemistry homeworks as well, in this case until dance. We're just over the halfway mark. We're just over the halfway mark. L4 coming around in the north. .5 kilogram bombs going for the Falcon Megers. A8 comes in last second, stops the bombing run. Black 41 gets reloaded over here. Important that he kept that one alive. L4 gets out. Push out. Oh no, I just shattered Lika boss's world. Not live. I actually think Kama's playstyle is pretty fun, because he plays a really effective playstyle, but with divisions nobody else plays. So it's still, is he good enough to beat the other guys with his super good playstyle with this weird division? Like, he never plays the super dear division, but like something like 5th Panzer or so is always like, eh. You really sure that's what you should play here, Kama? I guess, but yeah. Yeah, Flag 41 over here. Keeps the infantry at bay. LG 42. I mean, what else should you do as 3rd FJ in this matchup? Like, you can't push with the FJ in the early game against the third. Like, you have to play the attrition warfare. It's really up to the third mechanized player to make the shots here. IL-4 drops its bombs. Well, this became quite inaccurate by now. But the L4 will still continue to get out here. Meanwhile, Karma makes a push in the center though, and ooh. Yeah, Shermans now have to react, but destroys all the infantry already. IL-4 comes in, but the Fallschirmjägers spread out pretty nicely. Ah, these ones are still a bit stacked. Maybe they get all wiped out. Ooh, nice hits there with the bombs. IL-4 will still make it out. I mean, that's a lot of AA fire here, but the Flak 36, luckily for Karma, for Wesley, don't have Veteran C. Another IL-4 coming in. Wow. Yeah. This is really annoying now for Karma. But this, like, yeah, at one point some of these IL-4s will get critted down, I think. Like, come on. Yeah, IL-4 gets critted down, so first IL-4 bites the dust. Can't endlessly send him into this AA fire and hope just say, yeah, survive. At some points the crits will stack up enough to kill you, and they did this time. So IL-4 goes down. Panzerschreck gets killed off though by the Yamcha. Flak 40 gets the Valentine and another IL-4. This time hitting a bit more forward units. And it should, if it goes to the left, it should survive. It should survive. Gets heavily damaged. Obviously a super insane Flak 41 shot. Still can crit it out of the air, but yeah, no. Wesley up to 1311 as he gets back on to the hill. As the Flak 40 position over here is not alive anymore. What happened there? Didn't get killed off. He moved it. That was a mistake by Karma. Moving too much to the front line again. Not having the security of the rear. But he at least still has the Flak 40 in medium cover over here. Maybe he could rush up there, but the 50 cults are just too annoying. There's still quite a lot of Shermans. But he also has some LG42s. Flak 41s, and the first Sherman goes down. Flak 40 doesn't get another shot out onto the other one though. LG42 also now gets engaged by Partisanis. Not great for the LG42, but it gets 2 shots out, and LG42 has a lot of DPS, so it actually kills the Partisani. Another IL-4 run down here. Another time the IL-4 will get out. Automachiki's coming in here, but LG42 is in a really nice position here. Poor Karma, dealing a lot of damage. The parries though might finally finish it. Nope, they get stopped by the Fallschirmjägers beforehand. So the LG42 will live on for a bit longer. Meanwhile, IL-2 keeps on bombing the north. IL-4 and Flak 41 finally goes down to the 120mm mortar. Automachiki so trying to close in over here onto the Pak 38. Fallschirmjägers obviously try to prevent that. 1311 here for Wesley. LG42. Fallschirmjäger versus Automachiki. It only looks fun because it's 2 times speed, guys. Automachiki gets killed off. It only looks fun because it's 2 times speed. Guardias and Fallschirmjägers pushing in over here. Oh my Summershire Reef. We have sent way worse gameplay to Eugen. To advocate for us at least getting a time limit option. LG42 gets another kill onto the Sherman. Panzer Schreck setup over here is ready for whatever comes in there. There are way worse replays out there. This is actually still a rather... Like, obviously the start was horrible, but everything after was still pretty fine. Like, this was still a pretty entertaining long game. There's way worse out there in the internet. IL-4 hits, and also way longer. Like, this game goes long, but it doesn't go insane long. For example, a Bowser can give you an insane long game. Nearly going 2 hours. Me109 gets the P39 over here. So Karma starts to win the air fight. More Automachikis trying to come in over here though. Fallschirmjägers will catch the Automachikis in the open over here. Yeah, the LG42 kill list will be interesting. L4s coming in again. We will for sure have to check onto the kill list. Guys, stop me from clicking above the kill list, because we will never get back to the kill list once we leave it, because that would mean watching all of this again. Like, even on 10 times speed, it's still quite a while to get through it. Okay, supply trucks get sniped over here. Wesley keeps up to 13-11. Will he win this game? Well, Karma pushes in the south, and it looks like Wesley is running out of stuff here. He lost all his Shermans here, that his use gets killed up. And the L4's number also is dropping. When this time the L4 might have went a bit too deep. This Pre-39 doesn't survive this. And IL4 also doesn't survive it. Ooh. Pre-39 survives it. M109 is not quite quick enough. HS129 has to be careful. But Karma looks like he will be able to get back to a 12-12 and make the game even longer. Woo! Yeah, Fallschirmjäger Pioneers coming in here. Automachiki is getting eliminated down here, but there's one more Guardia to keep on holding on the flag. 11 minutes. We could actually just race up here and kill the Valentine. Obviously, Valentine without MG can't really deal much with any forces here. And it's a 12-12, guys. Woo, we made it. Finally, it's a 12-12 again. ME109 coming in once more. And we will see the Guardia getting hit over here. More Fallschirmjäger Pioneers coming in the north. Bit of last couple of mortar shells going up there with smoke. At least fire something. B64 gets killed off. More reinforcements hit the south. It looks like Karma won the attrition warfare here, guys. Even still having an HS129 around. P39. Yeah, no, you don't want to go after that. Who do you think you are? Get out of here. Also, there's not that many targets for the HS129 anymore. There's only the Valentine and the Sherman, really. And then maybe the Commander at some point. So, yeah, and with all the elite infantry still being around for Karma and him not looking like he's completely out of infantry just yet, looks pretty nice for him. Automachikis are the only thing that we see from Wesley by now, and Automachikis, obviously, this is not quite an Automachiki map. Let me tell you that. And yet, I don't think Wesley has enough Air Force anymore to tilt it in his direction. Brings in more AT, but his 2s obviously don't do much against Fallschirmjägers. 37mm do a bit, but nothing major either. Well, the P39 at least takes a bit of AA fire out of here, so if it doesn't die to the AA, it's still training enemy ammunition. Ooh, ooh. Oof, okay. ME109G2 R2 just survives quite so, and another Kubel ammunition comes in. 1410. And the ME109s will go after the Aerocropper, but will get the kill, but one ME109 goes down as well. So even less aircraft on the battlefield. Like, yeah. After the first 20 minutes, it was a relatively enjoyable game. Like, I could have just skipped the first 20 minutes and would have gone in from there and would have been completely fine. The first 20 minutes of this game really weren't much. Like in the other game, we came to a stalemate situation as well, but it was after an insane back and forth. Here it was just both sides not doing much. I guess it's kind of what you expect usually from Slut's Quest anyway, but not in this matchup again. I didn't quite expect that here, and the P39 is going down. Yeah, no, you can't do that. ME109, like, not with a single one. Bring in 3 P39s and then do it, but not with a single one. That never works out. Single planes against AA aren't a good idea. Multiple planes, maybe. Like, just like Karma did it. Obviously, it's also only a single 37 mil, so not much opposition there either. Was quite a bit more here. But yeah, now the 37 mil is dead. Now Kama has the air controls, looks like. And he's up to a 1410. So this should be it. Hey there, Mr. PLK 455. Malkoidas, can't really blame you there. Can't really blame you there. Good jazz blues music, plus a slow game. Might take a nap in that with that. L4 coming in over here, and Kama up to a 17-7. 6 minutes on the clock. That's it. That should be it. If he doesn't disconnect this time again. Like, yeah. MV109 comes around. P6 R6 flying around everywhere. Ooh, L4 dodges them though. MV109s are forced back. But it's a 17-7. It's only 5 minutes for Wesley. Brings in a couple more Partisanis and Guardians. Like if he still has a bit more left and Kama doesn't have anything left, maybe there's hope for Wesley. Not so much for any of us getting any rest here, but Partisanis getting pinned down over here. Ooh, P39 missed, big mistake in disguise there by Kama. Nice move there by Wesley with his P39, getting another plane for himself. Pushing it back to an 8-16 at least. Chikis against Fallschirmjäger Sturmjägers, and yeah, that's nasty. You just don't get in 100-meter range against 2 of these with 3-star veterancy. Like you just, it's just to run into them and your unit just disappears. Against moving targets, the DPS is insane. And more P39s coming around as well. Black 41 firing all around over here. And sorry Reef, but there was just no time in this game for drinking. It was just too intense. Don't know how you expect me there to find a time for getting a drink. Guardians over here, engaging Fallschirmjägers. And the Partisanis getting pinned down over here. And we see the most important unit of the deck hitting the battlefield. There's not a single tank left, but the Panzerschrecks will save the situation here. And I mean, they have 2 PPSHs after all. Whereas they're bringing out elite forces here. Turns out they die to the Fallschirmjägers. Big surprise there. Black 41 now using its last couple of HE shells. And Nemi Germany. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Merci, merci, merci. Wouldn't have guessed that with this game I actually get a follower, but hey, get surprised every day. There are surprises everywhere. 59 for Kama, 45 seconds, and he should have this one in his pocket. I mean, if it's your last tank cards in your deck, you might as well use them in this case. They still take enemy bullets, and if you get them close enough, they still have 2 PPSHs. So, hey, use all your deck. If it comes to this, use your complete deck. 120mm mortars, at least snipe the AA piece for the statistic, but in the end, Kama wins 8,000 kills. Above 7,070. Clean 1,000 kill point difference. And yeah, we didn't have many kills. There was, like, that's all of the kills in the first 20 minutes. 1 page. And then it gets insane. So, let's see. So, who are the heroes here? Emcha's killing quite a bit. That Emcha did quite a bit of work. 2 LG42s, 1 Flak 41 and a Pak 38. And also, for good measure, 2 more Fallschirmjägers. You did well. You did well. This one also did pretty well. Like 40 onto some Püppchen. The rest, not so much. Isle4s though, they were pretty nice. They were pretty nice. On the other side, LG42 over here, killing Valentine and T34s. And Stuck killing quite a couple of Valentines and T34s. HS129s killing 4 Shermans. Flag 41. Flag 41 killing 3 planes, 4 planes. That's not what you see every day. Flag 41 actually shooting down planes. Also, Flag 41 killing an enemy AA piece. A half-track and assist 2. Like, that's an interesting mix here. That's an interesting mix. I think that was the Flag 41 in the center. That got 3 Valentines, 4 Valentines, 5 Valentines, Flag 3, and 2 MCHs. Decent. Decent. Flag 40 did get quite a couple of kills. Stuck did a good job here breaking through as well. And I think that's the LG42 at the hill, which killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 infantry squads. I also assisted in a couple of tank kills, if I remember correctly. So yeah, pretty nice kill list here. Pretty nice kill list for Kama. And he gets himself a tie in the end. After losing the first game to a really unfortunate TC there. Like, that game was an interesting moment at that point. Was nasty. Was nasty, not gonna lie.